Hello, beautiful soul. 2025 is a new year, a new era, and a new you. You are moving on from survival mode. Now, the heart is the focus this year, the heart chakra. And this year is all about learning to live through the heart, to lead with the spiritual heart. In other words, we are becoming love in action. This means being authentic and caring and self-aware and showing concerns, genuine concern for others. It can also mean aligning personal dreams and goals with a higher purpose, really fostering a sense of interconnectedness with all that is, with everything around you, and having better relationships as a result. You're taking everything you learned from your past and on all timelines as well, and catapulting into the future, into the new earth, the new era, to be love in action. And doing so with a wise heart. I'm Samantha, and welcome to my channel. I'm a registered herbalist, a contemporary medicine woman, and an evolutionary oracle. And I'm really excited in this video to be reviewing the main themes for 2025, the archetypal influences, and January's plant ally, along with the psychospiritual symptoms and the physical symptoms that you will be engaging with this month, the positive and the shadow side, along with the cosmic dates that are really going to be supporting you to further your evolution and your self-mastery. So let's get started. In 2025, we're going to have a lot more soul expansion again, and we are moving on from survival mode. I talked all last year, about how we were working with the root chakra, and we were getting past our deepest, darkest fears, facing them, looking at that shadow, so that it could no longer drive our actions without us being fully aware of it doing that. Also looking at our issues with lack and scarcity. So we're moving beyond that now. We can see things very clearly. If you've been doing your work, you're seeing it. And we are now learning that we create our own reality more and more. And this is really going to engage this year, and also to be fully alive in doing that. We are learning to connect to the cosmic heart as well, and we're bringing in these new levels of awareness as we go through the Ascension process in 2025. It's really a call again this year to awaken, especially as we get to March this year, to step up for the greater good and be love in action. But at the same time, we're also going to be learning that while doing this, we can realize our dreams and our goals and engage in a really fulfilling life, in a fulfilling soul mission that feels so authentic to us, and level up through this, the abundance timeline. And again, I talked about the abundance timeline and what that means and how to navigate it last year. I've put the link below again in the description if you want to go back and read that, or refresh your memory if you already have. So this is about you walking into this year, and we're going to be asked to really have fresh eyes as we go into 2025. Now that we are free of our karmic patterning and the trauma that went with that, we can really anchor in optimism as we go forward. Okay, during anything that happens through this year and beyond, we're learning that we can be strong and we can be resilient. We also learned that by strengthening our root chakra, and that we can really have optimism during any storm and see the silver lining in it. So that's a big part of what you're going to be asked to show up with this year, because the old systems that are not in alignment with the new earth, they're still going to fall apart. Things are going to really shift again here, and are going to be needed to be rejuvenated, transformed. These old systems, that's going to have to happen more and more, particularly as we get into the summer. You're going to see that out in the world. And no matter what's happening in the world, it's important to know that you can create your own reality. So how does this show up for each of us, this living through the heart, living through the spiritual heart? Well, here are some ways that this will show up and what you can do to self-master and lead with that spiritual heart. The first one is being authentic, just being you, warts and all your flaws, embracing all of it, your weirdness, your wildness, whatever it is. Also presenting yourself in a really genuine way. So really speaking your truth and taking responsibility for your actions, for your feelings. and being caring and showing genuine concern for others and demonstrating consideration and empathy to others, those in your relationships, your closest, your work relationships, in whatever service that you are giving out into the world. Another part of this is being self-aware. So we're going to continue to be asked as we live through the spiritual heart to be very self-aware, to understand our emotions, to know how they impact our actions, to reflect on experiences, on our responses, on our triggers, and to know those really, really well so that we can make decisions with the higher mind, not with the fear-based mind. Also, another theme of leading through the spiritual heart is really having passion for your work and your service for others. So we're going to learn to engage with that more this year and really be true to that as we move forward. We are moving from the I to the we, from the me to the we, from ego consciousness to heart consciousness. That's a big part of what's going to shift as we live through the heart this year. And to just have that pure courage. So pure courage is different from standard courage. Pure courage comes from a place that is without ego agenda. So seeing a situation not just solely for your purposes or your gain or from past hurt. This is about making decisions as a way of perceiving reality different. So the brain's going to shift a lot and engage a lot around this concept this year. It's a really important quality for leaders, but also for all of us when we're navigating unpredictable terrain. And that's a big part of what will happen this year because we are moving into the unknown. It's a new Earth. It's a galactic hero's journey. We're moving into the unknown for ourselves. You may be finding that in your life. Lots of things up in the air, and as well as a collective. So pure courage is needed. Courage that's not tainted. Courage that you can say, yeah, this is the best decision for myself and others. So there's a lot going to shift around that concept this year. That's part of living through the heart. We are becoming so much more sensitive and attuned as we continue our journey through the ascension process. And it will be really uncomfortable not to live in the heart because we're becoming more and more aligned with the cosmic heart. That ego is falling away. And this can feel difficult. It can feel like you're losing yourself in some ways, that me to we. So we're being elevated this way in 2025. And if something or someone is out of alignment, then, and we will really pick up on this quickly, especially if it's on the world stage, if it's a leader or a situation of some kind, we really, as a collective, are not going to be in favor of that. It's changing more and more. We're going to have far less tolerance for any ego gain at the cost of others, especially if it creates anger or violence or suppression of freedom, greed, or power plays, and harms the innocent, such as children and animals or the earth. So a lot less tolerance for that in the collective as we go forward and create this new earth paradigm, which is based on love, not on ego. Therefore, more, and it may be you, will be asked to rise up and to protect what is good and just and what needs to be protected in order for us to create this new earth paradigm. Now, let's briefly talk about the 4 archetypes that are coming online in January and for the rest of the year that are going to support you through the heart more fully. So these archetypal energies that are coming in through all of these important cosmic gateways and months this year. Now, I speak about these in great depth in my 2025 archetypal forecast, so I'm just going to briefly go through these. So check it out on my website, and the link is also below in the video. This will help you have more awareness and consciousness and mindfulness because these are key to mastering your ascension process. So the 2 collective ascension archetypes that you will embody starting in January and throughout the year at different times more deeply are the lover, which is part of that heart chakra archetype, and the magical child, both heart chakra archetypes. So in the lover, this is about finding forgiveness. So you're going to move through a lot of grief still in the early parts of this year in particular, and letting go of any grief, any fear still that's lingering, anything that continues to block this heart chakra. So you'll have a lot of that happening so that you can really be more in that sense of love and compassion by the time you get to the end of this year. Okay, really dissolving anything that is there so that you can really love without limitation, but still with very clear boundaries, because you've learned now from the past, you have that wise heart. So that's the lover. The magical child is about moving past any disillusionment that you may have now, about going out and realizing your dreams and goals or making new relationships. Okay, because this is where that magical child really needs to come in for you if this is happening, and to really bring back your joy and your innocence, and to be open to love and light again. So that's a big part of what we will be challenged to do this year. So that as well as we do that, then we can bring in infinite possibility, really open your divine blueprint to a whole other level, and have a softer and lighter approach to life. So the lover and the magical child, two very important archetypes that are coming online this year through the whole collective and through you personally. Now, the other two archetypes are new earth archetypes, and they are portals to new consciousness. Right? They are new earth self-actualization archetypes for heart-led change. So actually bringing in the change we need. These are the compassionate innocent and the wise advocate. And the compassionate innocent is similar to the magical child in that it embraces optimism at every turn and views life with soft eyes. But it also is about living through that heart and creating more expansion so that you can move on from survival mode, okay? And really allowing yourself to create your own reality. This is very important. And moving back into that sense of being fully alive again. And bringing in this sense of oneness, okay, tolerance and acceptance. So a lot more of that coming in to really break free from any perceived boundaries so you can pioneer a new and expansive path. And that's coming into the collective as well. So it's really going to help us move forward and create a new earth paradigm. Now, the wise advocate, which is the second new earth archetype, really synthesizes higher consciousness. So a lot of shifts going to happen in the brain again this year so that we shift more to about seeing life for the common good. Okay. And it's about taking these energies from above and really bringing them into this sense of, as we connect to the higher self, loving service. And taking that compassion and putting it into action, love and action, being resilient, being resourceful, and really having that fresh perspective again. But advocating for yourself as you go along with clear boundaries and clear communication in your relationships and situations. So again, it's about pulling all of this together and standing up for yourself when you need to, but it's not based on your ego or on hurt or trauma, right? Which moves through that ego. It is based on ethical and universal principles rather than personal ego-based feelings. This is a huge shift that we are going to be asked to make this year in our self-mastery, so that when we make these decisions for ourselves and how they affect others, it's wise. It's through that wise spiritual heart. It's really exciting because it's a game changer in terms of how we'll operate in our reality and treat one another. Okay, let's move on to January. January and February in particular are going to be a little bit slower as we get going this year, and we're still shifting internally and really preparing for this big upshift in consciousness in March. So the plant ally that really expresses the energy for January is Edelweiss. And Edelweiss is actually found in my compassionate, innocent archetypal essence that I have. I put it in there because it really is all about soul expansion and moving on from survival mode. Edelweiss has an incredible ability as a plant to survive even the harshest conditions. And that's why it's perfect for January, as we really bring in more awareness to this and allow ourselves to embrace our ability to create our own reality despite anything that's happening around us, and really embodying that concept of being fully alive, because that's what Edelweiss does when it grows in the harshest conditions. All right. It's about being in life fully, no matter what, the good, the bad, the ugly, the exquisite, the painful, the love, and the joy. All parts of the human experience. So Edelweiss is perfect for that. It's really an eternal flower, and it symbolizes strength and durability of life, something that you will be learning this year, but will really be amplified in this ascension process because we need to know that we are strong and resilient inside. It's not about being tough on the outside. This is an internal shift for us. Edelweiss has a really long history of being in folktales because it symbolized this sense of being able to survive harsh winters, for example, and that people would have it as a sign of being able to show their love and compassion despite difficulty. If you want to work with Edelweiss, the energy of Edelweiss this month, you can meditate with a picture of it or a real plant, or you can grow it, draw it, or take a flower essence of it. I actually have it in my Compassionate Innocent Essence, as I said. And as well, for those of you that have taken some of my courses or looked at my forecast, the Navigating the Future course, I have a beautiful mandala in there that has Edelweiss in it, as well as in the Archetypal Forecast this year, I have the mandala of the Compassionate Innocent with Edelweiss in it. You can also meditate with that. I really love flower and gem archetypal essences like the Compassionate Innocence that I make, or mandalas in general, and using them because it goes beyond our mind. It goes beyond ego consciousness, and it's more experiential, energetic, and allows greater attunement and embodiment. This year, the body and mind and vibrational field will really be challenged again to come into greater synthesis with the whole, to oneness, to wholeness, to all that is, and this concept of co-creation and creating our reality, okay? And pulling in information, therefore, in a holistic and holographic way. Now, the nervous system will still be taxed as a result and stretched to bring in greater attunement and awareness to these higher frequencies that are coming in to direct us and shift our reality and perception. The sun cycle will continue to be very active and support shifts in our power, our illumination, and our clarity. And other important cosmic dates and gateways will trigger this opportunity to ascend, bringing in more creativity and manifestation for us, okay? But above all, watch and support your heart health this year. The heart's going to be the focal point. So pay attention to your heart health and stay healthy. So here are the symptoms for January, okay? Now, as we go through this process, there'll be more wholeness, more sense of being in that sacred union with yourself and within, all right, more acceptance and forgiveness, more unconditional love and understanding for self and others, okay, looking for more joy and play, heart-centered purpose, detachment from drama, not getting triggered the way you would have before, and therefore being able to take a deep breath around things that are happening. Interdependent relationships versus codependent relationships forming more and more for you, feeling good in your relationships, feeling like there's more give and take, giving and receiving, and equally, okay? Also more clarity of thought, more clarity on your life purpose and your life direction. So that will start to trickle in a little more in January, but particularly as we move into February, okay? But keep listening for where you need to go and when you need to take action. Now, negative or shadow symptoms that can come up this month can be more tension in that body mind. We know something has to change, so there's kind of more tension coming there. You can feel it in the collective. People know things have to change, as well as there may be more anxiety, uncertainty, grief, right? That sense of loneliness and separation. Fear, bitterness. Now, a lot of that emotion may be yours, but also if you're very in tune with the collective and very empathic, intuitive, you'll be picking that up, okay, more and more as you learn to attune more and listen to your inner knowing. So really sit with whether it's yours or not, but take accountability where you need to take accountability. There also can be more lung issues or pneumonia or asthma coming up, anything around the heart, circulation issues, okay, high, low blood pressure. There may be blood clots, varicose vein issues. It can even lead up to heart attacks, heart palpitations. And I don't want to be alarming, but again, we have to look after our health, breast cancer, anemia, watch your iron level. That's a big one that I'm seeing in clients where there's a lot of low iron because there's lack of joy. Angina or Raynaud's syndrome. So those are just some of the symptoms that may be triggered or may be worsened for some of us. So again, if you need support, get that help where you need it and check things out. And as well, we're still going to have a lot shifting in that solar plexus and third chakra because, again, power, right, as related to the heart. So again, watch your digestion. Sleep will still be off. And there are a lot more symptoms that I have in my written Ascension update. So take a look at that. All right. But overall, it's the heart, arms, hands, lungs, chest, and the thymus gland, which is also part of immunity. That's where we have our subconscious. So that will all be affected still quite a bit. You might have a lot of fatigue as well as a result of that. And as always, I have recommended vibrational products to support you as you journey. And these are all 20% off. I have the Lover Essence and Elixir and the Magical Child Essence and Elixir. So those are the first two archetypes we talked about. I also have the Compassionate Innocent and the Wise Advocate Essences for you. As well, my Metal Cycle of Creation Essence. Now, this metal element essence that I have is because we are in the metal cycle of creation this month. This is about flexibility. So you learning to be flexible, selfless in your decisions, selfless impeccability, divine choice. So being in those higher choices for yourself, knowing you always have a choice, which is very important. So you get out of the victim, releasing and transforming your grief into life experiences. So that's that metal cycle of creation so that we can cultivate more intimacy and harmony and co-creative relationships. So if you need more support in that, that metal cycle essence is for you. I also have my Sacred Union spray and Sacred Union tea. And my Feel No Fear tea, because we're going to need a lot of assistance as we prepare for this DNA upgrade in March. Okay, so really learning to release that tension and calming the mind and digest your emotions. This is all important so that you can really have more clarity of thought as you move forward. And by harnessing that mind, and this is a big part of what you have to learn this year, mental health is also very important this year, and mindfulness, as I said. You have to harness that mind and ground your fears and breathe through them, okay? So your inner wisdom grows and brings in your life purpose and your life direction, brings that into focus. So again, that's a big part of what we'll be learning. So I added in the Feel No Fear tea this month because I knew that we were going to need it. And finally, cosmic dates. All right. January 3rd, 4th, we have a meteor shower, and that always brings an illumination. You know this for those that watch my channel. Okay, they pepper us with illumination and insight, brings in more energy that way through the cosmos for us. And as well, January 9th, we have the 199 gateway. And this is a divine mission gateway. So this is coding that is really supporting more synthesis with our higher self, with a higher sense of mission, higher awareness of the whole. So that's coming in on January 9th. Big shifts there. January 13th, we have a full moon in Cancer. So it's going to be a little more emotional, a lot of emotion. Okay, who am I kidding? Very emotional. Moon. And then January 29th, we have the new moon in Aquarius. This is also the Chinese New Year, and this is the year of the wood snake. And it's all about, again, new beginnings, because the new year really doesn't start until we get to the end of January. Okay, this is a time for you to keep pacing yourself in January, resting when you need to, nourishing your body, mind, being open to new possibilities and adventures, really grabbing onto those and dreaming big. Okay, infinite possibilities. Not only dreaming big for yourself, but holding that energy that we are going to create a more loving, just, and healthy world for ourselves going forward. We are at a real turning point. So please join me in doing that this year. I really look forward to journeying with you. Those are the highlights for 2025 and January. Thank you for watching and being your authentic self. And I look forward to journeying with you this year, as I said. Together, we're really weaving a new earth into being. Let me know how you're feeling going into 2025 in the comments below. And I'm sending you lots of love and courage as we journey into the unknown.